Hello, everyone. I'm the okayest bassist, and this is the BASSics Volume 48. This is a almost weekly podcast that I do. This is where I talk about stuff. Usually, some friends come on, they talk about stuff. It's typically lessons or life lessons that I wish I had learned earlier on in my bass playing and accumulation of the basses. Um, Tonight's topic is the best gear for different levels, and not necessarily this will not be an end all be all list. These are the personal recommendations of the people involved. We take no legal responsibility for your decisions. Those are yours. I say we because, as seems to be the staple on my Dear Basics thing, we have the fellow brother of boredom, the man himself, Chris Volpini.
I excel at boring people.
Not quite the brothers of destruction, but,
Yeah, you know,
works well enough.
but we're destroying people's good times, so that's
I
something.
mean, well, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I went ahead. There we go. Maybe that'll work. Maybe. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. Can I do? Will it work? That? Nope. Because that doesn't keep the aspect. Okay. So I started out. I just went on Sweetwater. So when starting with basic beginner, someone just learning, um, one thing I noticed is a lot of these kits are short scale. Like Ibanez has a bunch of kits that are with their micro series. Squire has with their mini P bass. Um, so I looked for something of standard size, like 34-inch scale rather than a 30. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with learning on a short scale. It can definitely be helpful, especially if you're first new to seeing how far you can reach from one fret to the other. Although I personally think if you're getting into bass, you should definitely start out practicing on a 34 so that you don't get that muscle memory built on that shorter scale, because then you're going to have to relearn all of the movements, the muscle movement from if you're going from a 3 to a 7, it might not just be in your hands reach. Your thoughts?
Um, you know, I'm always like I always give the same "it depends" answer, but so if it's somebody who is has not this is the first instrument they're playing, I'm gonna say go for the 34. You're gonna be able to try the most stuff on a 34. You can try any type of string. You're getting a feel for what most of the instruments are. So if you, but say it's a guitar player who's starting to learn bass, I
Yeah.
might say go with the short scale because it's going to be the easiest adjustment and the immediate. Um,
And I
you know,
guess if it's a child, like smaller
yeah,
kid,
that was going to be my other caveat is if it depends on the age of the person too. Is if it's just a small person, I might say,
you know,
I actually just had it. A mom came in and said that her daughter was taking like jazz band at school, and she was, I think, 11, somewhere around there. And and the kid wasn't with her, so I was she was asking me what I recommended because she had to get her a bass, and I said, I pointed her. It was actually a Squire. What's the Jaguar body shape, but it has like a Music Man pickup in the precision spot. I forget what it's called.
there's a Jag. It's a 32 inch, 32-inch scale.
No, this was a 30. We measured it.
Oh,
Um, Hang on. Let me just look at something. I can get an answer on exactly what it was. But anyway, it was a short scale, and yeah, Jaguar base H. Oh, is
they
it?
are. those are 32.
Whoops. So anyway, as I was saying, I
They
recommended
look
the
like this.
Jaguar because it
Don't
was
they?
a
They look like
32-inch
this.
scale. Um,
Yeah. Was it the cool? Was it the cool pink one?
mm-mm.
I used to have
Like
one in.
a gunmetal gray. I swear that no, we measured it. Did they ever do a short scale version?
I've only ever seen the medium
Okay.
because I
This
used to have one in Lake Placid blue and did quite a lot of upgrades to it. Changed it out to
well,
fender.
I'm misremembering something. I thought that's what it was, but this was definitely a 30-inch scale base because we definitely measured it.
You said
Um,
it was, so it was the gray.
it was a metallic gray with a rosewood fingerboard.
Yeah, that one.
I don't know. It maybe they made it for in a shorty for limited time or something.
I don't know. I know I had one that was a 32. I really liked it,
I changed the strings on it too. I use short scale strings.
but yeah.
Anyway, it
Either
was
way,
something like that. It was a short. Either way, it was shorter than normal. Um,
yeah. Well, I mean, and if you go with like big successes, you could just talk about Ellen. I mean, she started out with I think her first one was the Ibanez Micro, and then she went to the I think it was
it
the
was just,
Rafe Ellen, the young girl, well known as a bass player, has a huge YouTube channel. Ellen
oh,
plays
she
bass.
like is she Hungarian or something?
Armenian.
Armenian?
But yeah, she started. I think her first one was an Ibanez Micro, and then I think it was, if I remember right, it was a purple Ibanez Micro, purple or blue, and then she went to a Ray 4, and then they like bedazzled the heck out of it. Now she has, like signature mayonnaise bases and all sorts of
Wow.
other stuff. But I mean, she started. I think her channel started with her at like 7 or 8 years old, so she was tiny, and she's
Yeah, I
playing a
don't know why I
bass.
had it in my head that she was like like Eastern European. I don't know. I had that in my head. I didn't know she was Armenian. So my apologies.
Either way, unless I'm saying it wrong. I just remember she talks about. I remember in a video, I swear she said a fellow Armenian. So,
Yeah,
unless I'm wrong,
I don't know.
who knows?
I don't know.
On the kit thing, what's your thoughts on this?
So this
Like,
is for somebody. This is I'm sorry. This is for somebody who's never played and is just starting out.
yeah, I'm saying if someone is looking around, they're thinking, you know what, I saw that Davey 504 guy. I want to play bass. I've never played an instrument whatsoever. My question isn't this particular kit. What are your thoughts on, like, you can walk into a music store and just grab a bundle, like in a single box that has the bass, the amp, the in this case bass amp tuner, a handful of
I would just be
picks.
cognizant. Like this kit, I have no issues with. I think it's awesome, actually. Um, I'm not a fan of the Fender Rumble at all, but that's still like a solid amp for a kid to start learning on, or anybody to start learning on. That's my issue with those packages. A lot of times is the amp. It's like sometimes it's something like that, which is solid. Like it doesn't have to be great. Like yeah, that's good too. Um, but sometimes when it was more of a thing back when I was coming up, but the amp that would come with it, those kits was whether the volume was on one or maxed out, it was the same, and the speaker distorted no matter what. Like it just, and that's the thing is like if it doesn't sound good, then you're not going to practice, and that's the most important thing starting
Yeah,
out.
I mean, and I,
So
I
something like
grabbed
this is great
and I
because
grabbed both of them because I've never like, I think at a music shop I've played through a Rumble, and it was
mhm,
probably a Rumble 15, and it was small. I knew it wouldn't be obnoxious to anyone else in the room,
yeah,
kind of thing. I've had no problems with them, but I've also never like plugged into one and been like, oh my gosh.
yeah,
But
I
that's
just
that's
don't like.
why I grabbed both of them, because I saw this one had the Ampeg, and I like, personally, I've owned one P bass. It
Mhm.
was the third bass I ever owned, And it was because I had two Ray 4s. I had one at home to practice, and I had one at church to play. I had two of the same model so that it wasn't a weirdness while I was learning of, well, the one there feels different. And then an old man who used to play in Nashville that went to my church was like, "You need to come by my house." So after church, I went by his house, and he walks up to me. He goes, "You got $50?" And I go, "I can get it." And he goes, reaches around his door and hands me a P bass. He goes, "That's what you need to play. That's all you need." And that was the end of the conversation. So I got it home. I played around with it, but as can be seen with anything behind me, I don't like anything that is a traditional look or shape. In every way, the P bass is that. If you had someone draw you a bass, they're going to draw you a P bass shape, and they might even draw the P pickup just because that's the bass. The Ibanez could be, if you've got someone who's learning, they're like, "Well, I don't want to look like everybody." You could grab that. It's a humbucker. The Ampeg is going to be, it's an amp that
Yeah,
seems to be more preferred,
where I
and it's
dislike.
$10 more.
Well, that's the thing is like I like the bass better in kit one. I like the amp better in kit two because I love the Ampeg Rocket.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like that's what
Great.
I mean. So when we look at this, it says here with Sweetwater, $30.04 worth of savings. Like, you work in a music shop. Like, do you guys sell the kit in a box situation, or
No, I mean we don't have any kind of a gimmick with it. What we do is we'll have usually the Rockets. I'm actually trying to get another order of those in right now. That's probably the 108 or whatever the lowest one is. I think it's the 108.
should be?
And for playing in your bedroom,
Yep.
yeah, play it in your bedroom. It's great. I mean, it has a little overdrive circuit you can mess with. Like it doesn't do any. It's not. You're not going to play any shows with it. You're not going to. But like sitting next to your bed, it's a great amp to have sitting next to your bed. So we carry those, and usually we have some entry level bases. We're working on becoming a dealer with an entry level company. Right now, we had bought the inventory from a music store that had shut down, and it's mostly Squire stuff. But we're using it's some entry level Spectres, or we push it's just stuff that we got from that store. Right now is our beginner stuff. But it's a mix of Squires and Spectre, and there's an Austin. If you remember that company, there's an Austin jazz bass in there that we do a refinishing service for guitars, and we demonstrated it on that Austin. So it's a shell pink now, and then I put flat wound strings on it because there's been so many bass players that come into the shop that don't know the difference between flats and rounds.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So it's for sale, but no one's been interested in it. So that's the bass I play during downtime. But yeah, I mean, I prefer. So again, like from these two examples, definitely prefer the Squire P bass over that Ibanez, and I definitely prefer the Ampeg over the Fender amp.
I do like that this one includes the D'Addario rechargeable, because it's one of the few that I've seen that uses a USB-C.
Did the other one have a tuner with it? The other one had a tuner.
It did, but it was a battery power snark.
Oh, I didn't think Snark was
Pretty
even.
sure.
I thought all Snark stuff was rechargeable now too.
Not their. You have to have I think they're the Super Snark is the one that has the recharge, and they use the old micro.
I have to look into
USB.
that because we just tried to order. We carry those, and that's what our rep told us, is that they only make the rechargeable ones.
Unless they canceled it. I know my local music shop, they still have a display box of the old ones, but I know that I ordered two Super Snarks that I could leave at church. But again, the only downside on them is they use the old micro USB. So like you have to have that old style cable. It's not like, hey, who has a phone charger?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
now,
kind of stuff.
if I were to, if you were to, so like you like the Ampeg rocket.
I do. Yeah. I'm
To
firm believer.
me, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think so, kind of thing. I don't think cable matters too awful much if you don't
Not,
have
not, no. I mean, so I don't know. Like,
the ones that come like packaged with a Harley Benton don't seem to do super well, but they're probably like $1. But
yeah. I mean, it's. I, I don't think. I think that you need to have a certain level of cable, but then I think after that, it's like it doesn't matter. Like,
well, like I did that video on the wireless transmitters, and I've got, well, they're over there. I have the ones that are like $40, and then I have these from Positive Grid that go for 150, and I mean, you can go back and listen to it. It's straight into the Focusrite, and it's record the exact same licks where you can bounce back and forth between them. I don't hear I mean, I'm not the
I,
best option because I'm hearing
I,
impaired, but I don't hear a major difference between a $30 and a $150 one. But also, it's all in my room in a controlled thing. There's not a whole bunch of lights. There's not going to be a whole bunch of like interference coming in, which, I mean, the Positive Grid, obviously, they've designed stuff for anti hum and all that in there, whereas the others, they're not. But there's also a hundred
and
something dollars.
if you're gigging, because like your gigs are all in the same place too. So like if you're playing a variety of venues, it gets weird sometimes, especially with like hums and buzzes and cracks and bangs. And it's you know, I don't know. I still like using cables. I the only thing else like I don't think they really have an effect on tone. I think a bad cable is going to snap, crackle, and pop and stuff like that, and then that's going to not be a good thing at a show. More likely to have a fault or whatever. I use those rattlesnake cables. I like them. They're a solid cable. I don't think that they sound any better or anything like that because I don't think any cable sounds any better. Um, but it's very well made. They hold up very well. He uses the Neutrik plugs and all that. I have no complaints, and you get to pick what colors you want. It's cool, and they're about the same price as like a Megami, but you get to choose what color you want.
So if we're just looking at, again, just threw up Sweetwater because it's easy.
Yep.
So like they've got
Well,
open box.
or a beginner's probably going to start looking.
Yeah, I figure either they're Musician's Friend or Z Sounds. It's the
Yeah,
places that people go, and at that
and
point
they
you're
all
just,
basically carry the same brands.
yeah, and your big thing is, okay, who has what on sale? Which
Yeah,
just, I have Carol at Musician's Friend and I have Tim at Sweetwater, and I can tell you either one of them, if you're like, hey, just so you know, the other website has this same thing for $150 off, they're going to match it.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
like, if one of them's offering 4 years zero interest financing and the other's offering 2 years, they're gonna swap that price for you so you buy it from them. So, but like open box, wholeheartedly recommend. Most musicians buy used gear all the time anyway. You buy an open box from a website or from a music shop. Okay, it's been opened, but at least you should still have the same warranty because all they're saying is someone's messed with it before you. So, what's your thoughts on the Spectra?
I've never played one.
I got
It,
one from Bully. It was good.
I mean,
It
I
was a,
played the higher end ones. I've never played that
yeah,
entry level one.
yeah. There you
I mean,
go.
it's PJ. As long as the fretwork is good and all that, I think it'd probably be fine.
The perfect starter base. The
Now, if you're,
Kala
I
Noman.
mean, but for a little kid, it might be. Some
Uh,
some people. We got 6 year olds that come in for guitar lessons.
I mean, my kid has like 7 toy guitars, but I wouldn't pay $200 for something for
Well,
him to
that's
slap
the.
around.
But there are cheap bass dukes out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go on. I plan to go on Toman and show the difference between what you can get U.S. versus. I mean, you have to pay the shipping, but you can get some nice Harley Benton stuff. This one, definitely recommend if you want a short scale. If you have a kid, I have one of these in the white finish that they don't make anymore, white with the maple neck, and it's what I give my kids if they ever decide they want to try to learn a lesson, because it's 27.5 inch scale, or 28 and a half, 28 and a half, 27 and a half. I got it used. It already has dents, dings, nicks, and scratches, so I don't care at that point. It's the only 4 string in the house, and it sounds good.
Yeah, I played.
Like, I mean, like I have a lot more expensive basses that just the sound out of it, it sounds great. And that could be because it's short scale with the short scale tapes, that it's got a way different sound than something multi-scale like everything else I have. But it's I don't know if it's the type of pickups. I don't know. I'm not a bassologist. I don't know these things. But like, it sounds great. And I really like the purple. The only thing I don't like about the purple is it's an unfinished back of the neck. So it's like dark all the way across the front and then a light neck. I just have weird aesthetic choices.
So I had a silver one.
Hmm.
I used to like it for the military stuff because it would fit in my bag. Um, Now there's way better options out there, but
Yeah.
that was the best option back then. I ended
But
up giving it to a singer, but it sounded fine. It was the only bad thing I remember is the pickups were really buzzy, but I think I paid like $80 for it.
so the Jackson Spectra looks to be the cheapest full size.
What's that one? That Jackson right there. No, no, no,
These,
down, down.
the JS, it's a full size.
What? How much is the Spectra?
ten
I thought
bucks
that was
cheaper.
more. Oh, okay,
The ones at the top are the open box. But
gotcha.
I mean, like, look, and then you got a Sonic Precision, you got the
Mhm.
Squire Sonic. Now that one's open box, so 225. So I don't remember how much it was on that other kit for the base. I think it was about the same price with the savings. But I do find, like, I think one of the biggest takeaways, which everyone has said it, I know it's been said on here multiple times, you don't have to spend a crap ton of money to get anything, to get something good or decent or even good nowadays. I mean,
Uh-uh.
again, like you said, back when you were buying stuff, or like my first guitar when I was first learning, well, that was mine, was an old Teisco ET200, and it
Mhm.
came with its own speaker. There was no grill cover. It was just a
Oh yeah.
speaker, and it had molded plastic that came over the front in like a triangle, and then it had a plastic circle on the front. It was I think it was a 5 watt amp. It had a volume knob that clicked when it hit zero, so you knew it was off. That was it. It sounded like garbage. But you know what? It made the guitar louder so I could hear whether I was playing things correctly or not. And you know what? That guitar was awful. The frets on it were half as tall as they needed to be. I mean, I tell you, you built calluses because you held the strings to the fretboard to get it not to buzz. And I ended up getting, of course, other stuff. And then I knew someone who wanted to learn to play, and I only had like 2 guitars at the time. So I was like, you can have this. Like, it's not good, but here you go. But now, I mean, again, and these are just what you can get at the big brand stores. Again, there's cheaper ones you can get, like, what is it, Donner, I think's the one on Amazon people talk about that you can get cheap. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. Back in the day, if you wanted something cheap, you went to Walmart and got First Act. And I did not know this, but apparently they had a custom shop.
Yeah, I did know that actually because there's somebody that used to sell a bunch of. It was probably somebody from the company. He used to put a lot of those up for sale, and I don't know. None of them really looked interesting to me, but
But I mean, you got a lot of PJ options. I don't see anything not P or PJ. So the first one is Ibanez Micro 5 string. If you want a 5 string, that's a good one. I have one in the other room. It's my living room bass. It hangs on the wall next to the little Minion, the 4 string Jackson. I have this one right here, this black. It's a great little practice. It's a 30-inch scale, 5-string, so you can still practice using your same techniques on a 5-string, but it's short, it's small, and it's not sticking out super far if you want to sit in a recliner while you watch television. This tattooed one's kind of neat, but I wouldn't buy it.
No.
But you can get good stuff cheap. That's kind of the thing. Where would you say is the major price break between introductory and semi-pro or starting to be professional? Or would you say there is one now? Because I mean, you can get good stuff and bad stuff in any kind of patch.
And you can. There's other ways there's just a number of ways to go about it. So if
no mods, like you're just walking in a store to buy a thing.
But I mean, are you getting an amp or are you getting a DI? Because what if you're in a band that is running DI all the time? Why would you spend a bunch of money on an amp?
I'm talking about just the bass itself. The bass itself. Where would you say there is a distinction of, hey, unless you're spending this much money, your thing isn't roadworthy, gig worthy?
I don't think so, because as long as it stays in tune, you're good.
Not a bad choice in my mind.
If you're gigging, you need to stay in tune. Everything else is subjective.
So by SIT strings, gotcha. Stay in tune. But hey, look at that right there. Whoa, amazing. 30-inch scale.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited to try these Dunlop strings, man. Whenever they show up, the ones we were talking about earlier. That's all cool. I'm saying. Seafoam green. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. It's just it's a Yuko, isn't it?
Made by Solid U Bass.
Yeah, it's a Uke bass.
It's Smurf blue. I don't remember the Smurfs being that color.
I don't know. It looks like seafoam green to me.
It does to me too. I don't remember Smurfs being seafoam color. They were blue.
That's a cool bass though. I like it.
Now, let's switch it instead, because we've covered the bass. So when it comes to amps, what I will say, and granted, I have very specific tastes and thoughts on things, but if someone I've had people ask me, like I've had parents who have come up at church or whatever, oh, hey, my kid wants to learn to play. What do you think? What should they buy? Whatever. At the point that it's a person who's going to stick with it, like if an adult were to come up and say, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm not quitting any of that. My answer, very simply, there's the amp you need. That's just modeling. You can do it as you can technically use it as just a speaker without any of the modeling. It can be a DI speaker. It can work as an audio interface for recording. It has the looper. It has all of the options that come in the app, like getting drum tracks to the background, all that kind of stuff. I have one. It's right over there. It's right behind the computer I'm using to share the screen. I did end up getting the live. Sweetwater had an open box. They gave me a good discount. They sent it to me. It had some weird popping, like I was playing and it was just
mine
constantly. And I don't know why. I called and they said, yeah, that's weird. Do you want us to warranty it? And I was like, no, I don't. And the other thing is, I don't know what happened. I guess the link I clicked on said that it came with that it came with a battery and the Spark Live. So I was like, awesome. I get an extra set of the transmitters and I'd be happy to have a second battery. So I clicked it and I sent the item number, and I guess Tim thought that I was only wanting the amp because I said I saw this says it has open box. Well, the open box wasn't a kit. So I got it and I open it and I'm like, oh crap, this is open box. Someone stole these things out of there. And he's like, nah, you got an open box of just the live. It's like, so I sent that back, but I do have a cab coming because the Spark 2 sounds just as good as the live, in my opinion, for the sounds that it does. It just it can't push as much air. That's its biggest thing. Like I asked my wife, who's not musical at all, and I said, what do you like better between this, and it was the live, versus this, Glenn Hughes 12 inch. I think it's a 12 inch, 50 watt. And she said, I like that better because I feel it, legitimately feel the sound as opposed to just hearing it. So the cab has, I think it's a 140 watt, uh, 10 inch. So he said if I don't like it, I can send it back too. So that's the thing that gets me on these online. Like, if you're in a music shop, you can go in and try stuff out. And I just wonder how these websites make money. If you have someone who tries something, like I feel almost feel bad when I order something and then I don't like it and I send it back. It's like, I'm sorry, y'all are
It's
paying
basically
shipping.
their entire business model, though, so it's not really something to feel bad about.
Oh, I said
Um,
almost.
I mean, gear's a very subjective thing, and they know that, they know their industry, they know who they're selling to. So
Well, and I mean, just with Positive Grid, I had a Spark 40. The first one I had was awesome. Like,
but
you'd plug in a bass and it was great. It didn't buzz, it didn't fart out, it didn't, like, at reasonable volumes. It was
yeah,
great. And then I tried to do the way that the 40 was. You had to plug it into a computer and do a manual firmware update. I go to do that and it bricked. So they had to send a replacement, and the replacement was awful. Like, it farted out and buzzed like crazy, and ended up just getting rid of it. It sounded great on my guitars. It's just on bass it was awful. So I ended up just getting rid of it rather than trying to warranty it again. And that's when I bought the little Boss Dual Cube, and that drum looper thing on it. That's cool. I really like it. I miss that feature, but then I went to the Spark 2 and I love it. It's great, especially because, like, the Live, it has the battery. So all I got to do is unplug it from the wall, and it's my speaker for the computer. So I unplug an auxiliary cable and a power cable, and I can just go outside.
yeah. My Live does that too. That
Mm-hmm.
clicking thing.
Oh,
I just
cool.
turn it off and turn it back on, and that always seems to fix it.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is either, but
Hmm.
it's weird. Whatever it is, I haven't been able to figure it out. It's almost like it's like a bit test for each of the inputs because it seems to come in fours. But I don't know.
Hmm. So what would if someone were to say, "Hey, I have 350 bucks, around 400 bucks for an amp. I want something that, like, what's the amp that you would recommend at the 350 $400 range or less for someone who wants it for practice, but isn't just sitting in there quietly? Like, they want something that can do some audio loud. Obviously it's not going to have
But
all
they're
of the
not. They're
features.
not. They're not gigging.
No, I mean, you couldn't use
Okay.
this for a gig either. You're not going to get enough power for a gig at, I don't think, unless you're recommending unless you know of a gigging amp at 400. I
Oh,
don't.
that's what I'm looking at.
I mean, the lives are like 5.
No, because I was gonna say the Rocket Base RB 112. You could definitely make that work, but it's $500. There. Let me see something because the most hilarious backline I ever had was a Fender Rumble. And I'm trying to think of what size it was. It was this was an outdoor venue with like
800.
no. Yeah. Okay. Let me make sure. Yeah. So it was this. It was the Rumble 100,
100.
and you could get it for 349, and it has the line out, so you can, as long as you have a PA system, you could gig it. That was the back line at an outdoor festival that I played, and I showed up because, like, if they tell me it's backline, I'm not bringing an amp, right? So I showed up, and that's what they had, and I was like, okay, cool. But it was fine. Basically, we were just using it as a DI, but
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's got that. Got that.
yep, if it has that, you can gig it. Um, so that would be my Even though I don't like that amp, but that's just my preference.
So here's what you need for real
Yeah,
gigs,
if
right?
$400 is the hard line, then that's if you can go up to 500, get the Rocket. But if you
And
can't,
if you have $1,300, you go for a 500 2x10 and a 4x10 on top of it.
I wouldn't do. No, at that price point, I'm not gonna. I'm not recommending a Rumble.
What what does your Trickfish run? Is it in that 1,300 range?
No. Let's see.
So at
Uh,
500, you would recommend the RB 112.
uh, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't know what I would recommend. I'd have to look at some stuff, but I definitely wouldn't discourage the RB 112. Or what would? Yeah. So Bullhead 1K.
At 550,
That might be overkill though.
well, but if you're gigging, is it just you? Because that's where the live, of course, is going to shine. Is if
Uh,
you have other people that need to
uh,
hook in.
I don't know. That's dicey playing. Like I know that they advertise that as being able to do gigs, but
The whole metal band.
yeah, I think that's a little bit advertised. I think they're being pretty generous.
I don't
Good for
understand
like
this one.
acoustic stuff. It's good for like acoustic stuff.
Like, this is the one I don't understand. I saw when they released the Edge, it's a 65-watt combo PA, but I just don't understand. It's $100 less than the live with less than half the wattage.
And half the inputs. I
So
don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it has a. I would say it's shaped where it has a built-in wedge, but the live has that pretty solid leg that comes out to angle it.
So my amp head you were asking, it's at 14.99, the main one that I use. Um, and the cabinets. Now I don't have
No, it's not on here.
Trickfish isn't on Sweetwater. Um, my cabinets. Let's see, 1350 for that one, and then this one is not so about $2,300 for the cabinets, and about $1,500 for the head. But you can definitely, you don't have to spend that much to have like a good gigging amp.
Sure.
Um, you got to remember, I'm a nerd with this stuff too, so it's like, of course, I spend more than you need to.
Well, I mean,
If I'm spending my money, I'm going to get what I want, but if I'm spending other people's money, I'm usually a lot more like this is all you need to spend.
that's why your music shop you work at doesn't exclusively have U.S. Lakelands and Trickfish amps.
Well, we have Reverends. That's another, but like that's a brand I would recommend to anybody on a budget too. Like that's the thing is like Lakeland's just I love them, but they are expensive, and I like it. So if someone comes to me and says, "What do I need to spend?" I'm probably not going to recommend a Lakeland because you can get a giggable bass less than that. But if they say, "What's your favorite?" I'm going to be like, "Yeah, I think they're worth the money. Get the Lakeland, get the Reverend. Um, have something custom built if you want to do that. If you want to get weird." Yep. Yeah, my weirdo right here.
Yep. All three of the things we just showed have the same pickup.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of wish I would have just got that pickup. The other one's fine, but I do find myself mostly soloing the extender pickup.
That's all I find myself doing because it's all that's on
Like
there.
I got that bass knowing I wasn't going to play it very often. I really wanted to try that extender pickup, and I wanted to try to do something weird, and that's why I did the bridge pickup and did the crazy preamp that even though I don't really use preamps. So I just wanted to see how it would end up, and I do like it. It's just not going to be a go-to. It's good for like if I do take the occasional like jazz gig and stuff like that. It'd be great for that because it's super modern sounding, and I usually like a little bit of grit.
So
Yeah.
when we're talking about beginners, there's not like a specific requirement on anything to spend. If you see something cheap, if you see something used, whatever, you're learning, grab
Be
what
careful with
works.
used. Be
Yeah.
careful with Be careful with used, especially early on because you don't. I mean, you just don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you, like, especially working at that music shop, how many times people come in, they're like, yeah, I got this thing off Marketplace, and it's a wreck. Like, it's not even, and it'll be. I'm thinking mostly those Mendini horns. It's like an Amazon brand. People will buy those on Marketplace, and they'll bring it in, and it's like it's not even. The repair cost is more than what this thing's worth. Like, it's not. Um, so just be careful with like Marketplace and Craigslist and stuff like that because the thing could have a broken truss rod. You wouldn't know
Yeah.
looking at it, and like it is predatory sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So I do
I
think
have this thing,
everyone,
I don't want it. It's garbage, but someone else may want my garbage for a cheap price and
yeah,
not know that it's garbage.
I do think for the first one at least, go to a store because at least if you buy it from a store, you have certain like they're probably going to have some sort of return policy. You're going to have if you really wanted to pursue it that much, you're going to have protections, consumer protections, and stuff like that. Those person to person sales, if it's a dud, you're sunk. There's
Yeah.
no fixing that.
There's no Better Business Bureau to come in and help
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I mean, that's the risk you run. You might score, and it's tempting, but you might not.
And if you want a cheap first base, here's the one right there. Everyone needs a sharp, pointy, definitely, not BC rich.
My first base was a wash. It had the pointy headstock, but it wasn't. It was a Washburn. I don't even know. I have one downstairs. It's not the one. I borrowed it from my cousin, and it's just a P base, but it's super 80s. It's got the pointy headstock, and I found one online that looked exactly like it, so I bought it. There, it's
There's
Washburn B2. That was my first base.
there's another good option for a beginner.
That's cool. I mean,
Knock off Thunderbird.
yeah.
When I went to buy my first base, I went into the store. I was looking at all the bases. Salesperson comes up and is like, "Hey, you need any help?" And I was like, "Looking for a base." And they're like, "Do you know what you want?" And I was like, "Not a clue." They go, "Okay." And the guy grabs a Sterling Ray 4. He goes, "We've
Okay.
got these. They come in 4 colors. This is what you need." And I was like,
That's just
well, to be fair, I did preface like I don't want that and that, and I pointed at a J base and a P base.
yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't like them
he
at
grabs
all.
he grabs that. He's like, "What you gonna be playing?" I answered the questions like it's gonna be at church. After hearing all of it, he grabs the Sterling Ray 4, and I was like, "I really like that one." And I was pointing at a Thunderbird 4, and he's like, "Don't get
Yeah,
that." And I was like, "Why not?" He's like, "It's your first base. That they look really cool." He's like, "They're not good." He's like, "You're gonna hate playing it." And I kept looking at it, and I ended up not getting it. And then the first I didn't buy the Ray 4 because I didn't like the look of it. But I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about, so I won't get the Thunderbird. And then my first base, let me see if I can find it. It was awful. Um, okay, probably don't even
now
see
I'm just
them
sitting here
here.
looking at old Washburn bases, feeling old because I remember like looking at them in the catalog and being like, "Those are so cool."
I don't even know if they make these anymore. Is the thing. I'll just have to find a picture of one on
So
Google.
that yeah, my first bass was technically that Washburn B2, but it was borrowed. The first one I had that was mine was it was a Dean Edge, uh, like
The
two
pink
soap
one?
bar. Huh?
The pink or green one?
And that was black. It was
Oh,
the first bass I ever bought myself was another Dean, but it was a Dean Edge as well, but it was like it had Bartolini pickups and a flame maple top, and I played that bass for probably 5 years or so, and then I
this
got
was this was my first bass.
oh that's cool.
A
So
Dean Metal Man.
yeah, that's cool. I mean,
Except it did not.
it's a
This
choice,
isn't
you know.
this isn't the same model because the model I had just a single like soap bar right on the bridge. It did not have a PJ.
That's what I that when you brought it up, that's why I said it wasn't bad. I wouldn't have recommended the pickup on the
No,
bridge.
it was one of these. It was this situation right here.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Except it was why won't it
I bet that sounded horrible, actually.
it did.
Yeah, the
It was
PJ would
very
be
bad.
fine. It would
But
sound
it had it right there on the bridge, but it was explorer shaped. And I showed up to church with it because that's where I was playing bass. They asked me to play bass and they looked at it and they go, "You and what
fine.
it was so I'm trying to remember which one they called me. They I just blanked on his name. The guitarist from Kiss.
Paul Stanley.
Yeah, they asked if I was Paul Stanley and I was like, Gene Gene Simmons is the bassist. Why would you say that I was the good? But I showed up with it and we plugged it in as soon as it plugs in. It was like, oh, so they like kill the gain. You could barely hear it at all, and they're like, you have a bad instrument. You need to fix that. So I took it in, returned it, and the same guy who had helped me, who was telling me about getting the Stingray. I go in and I return it. He goes, "Oh, I went with the metal man." He's like, "What are you playing, metal? You playing a metal band?" I was like, "No, I was playing it at church." And he's like, "Oh."
Yeah, it's a choice.
He's like, "Well, do you want to exchange it for another one?" I was like, "No, I'm going to take that one you told me about." I just went over and got one of the Blu-ray 4s. And then it was a couple weeks later that we were going to St. Louis again, and we were going to drive by that Guitar Center, and I told my wife, I was like, I think I should grab another one, so I have one at home and one at church, because at that time I was terrified that I was going to drop it as I took it in and out of a vehicle and it was going to bust, and I was like, but it cost like I think I got both of them on sale and they were like 229 or something like that. They were super cheap, and I was like, I don't want to spend $50 getting like a hard case or something to protect it when it was that cheap. But I also don't want to risk breaking one, and having a backup is going to be nice. So, and that's where it started with getting multiple. But yeah,
Yeah, kind
not recommended that this be your first base. Learn from my mistakes. Don't pick that.
no, just I mean, that's the thing. That's like overall recommendation. Is like don't get bogged down in gear when you're getting started. Like just get something that stays in tune. Focus on learning to play. Then there's plenty of time for gear nerddom afterwards. Just get something, learn how to play, focus on playing and focus on playing with other people, and then just
Yeah.
then you can nerd out and wonder about tone wood and all that nonsense.
Well, and
Um,
I've said it on here many
time in the
times.
early days.
I've said it on here many times. Like your the gear that you get should inspire you to practice more. Like don't get an instrument cuz someone told you that's the one to get and you don't like it. Like that's not going to help you, cuz if you look at your instrument and you go, I don't want to play that, then you're not. You're eventually you're going to not play it. And if you have an instrument you like and you look at it and you go, man, that thing's so cool. And then you go grab it and you start playing it. you're even if you're just playing and noodling and just not even doing anything, you're still getting time with the instrument. And the more time you spend, the better you're gonna get. Like it's depreciating returns over time. Like it's not like you always grow at the same rate, but um, you have to want to play, and you have to practice to stay as good as you are or to get better. And if the thing you have you don't like it, you're not going to practice. But having gone down the rabbit hole that many musicians do, as my wall is showing right now, also don't just grab new gear every chance you get because you can, because financially that's a bad thing, because you're going to end up just tanking money unless you're really good at picking up and reselling stuff.
And before you, something that I should do more of is like really, you know, go through all the minutiae, go through every setting that you have before you think an instrument isn't working. Um, I used to be notorious that if I didn't like the way it sounded flat on an active bass or whatever, I would get rid of it. I, I don't know why. It's a weird thing. Like
I
that's
mean,
what the
I
point
only
of the
play
knobs.
mine and I only play any of my instruments in passive and everything level, and the tone almost always just all the way up. I don't touch the tone knob. If it doesn't sound good, I will set it the way I like it, which is always everything flat and in passive, and then I will leave it alone. And if I can't find the way that I like it, and if I don't like an instrument in passive, I won't keep it. Like I won't get it if I'm trying one. But like now I'm in the fun with the bongo where it's not got a passive option and I have to figure out how to do that. And they were nice enough to send me a wiring diagram. I don't understand it. I just simply asked, hey, where could I put a switch in this? And they go, sure. And they sent me a wiring diagram. I was like, that is not helpful to me at all.
Well, I mean, but if you take, they're probably thinking you're going to take it to a tech or whatever and get
Yeah.
it done.
But
Yeah, well,
so
doing a kill switch for a preamp isn't anything big. If I were you, I would do it also a passive tone control. That way, it's just basically a jazz bass as far as the wiring.
I'm about to say, and if that's doable, that'd be
It is.
fine. But it doesn't have a tone on it.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, but
None of
you would either add you if you're just ditching the preamp altogether, because I think that's what you were talking about last time, is just getting rid of it and having a dummy knob or whatever.
yeah, I don't either way.
That and then yeah, then you just have your volume tone and but if you wanted to keep the preamp, you just have a switch.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'd prefer.
when the switch is on the preamp setting, it's connecting, volume tone or volume or volume selector or whatever, however that part's wired. I don't know. Um,
Volume, blend, bass, treble.
yeah, so to go volume blend and bass treble. And then when you flip the switch, the signal changes and goes up to and then that's where you put your tone knob.
Hmm.
Um, so you can easily do that. Um, but I would definitely want to have a tone. But if you ditch the preamp altogether, then you just use, one of the preamp slots
Sure.
for your tone knob.
And then the only other thing I was going to touch on before hopping off here is there are options. Everyone talks about it, but just in case for some reason you don't know and haven't heard anyone else talk about it, there are options beyond the big names of Sweetwater Musician's Friend, and there are more than obviously just Thomann. But you can go on Thomann and I mean, obviously again, reverb. You can buy new, you can buy used, but you can go on here. You can get something like the Stingray style, 125 bucks. You do pay the import duties, you do pay the international shipping, but when you can go on and buy, this or a P base, even whatever, like there's let me switch to it. I mean, you could grab that Squire Sonic was 220, or you can get this for 105. They have Harley Benton bass amps. I was grabbing one of those a minute ago and then I forgot. Like they have their own in-house bass amps. Again, I can't give advice on whether or not necessarily theirs are going to be cost effective once you're paying the shipping. Now on the bases, it's changed because used to it was you just you paid like whatever it was back in the day, $50, and you could have 3 in a box, and now it's like 90 to 120. But the fact that you can go in and just, let's see here, like you can share this tab, like you can go in and get
See, like that would be the amp I would stay away from.
that is
That type. Yeah, those are the ones that I don't know. Maybe the Harley Benton one is fine, and but I don't know. I think a lot of those things are made in the same factories, and it's probably the same.
Probably.
But I don't know. That's just how it's.
When you say that kind, are you talking about like control on the front or
just those really little speaker amps?
8-inch?
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between an Ampeg 8-inch and a so like.
Well, here's one that's an 80 watt that has a Celestian brand speaker. Whether that,
I mean,
runs exclusively on 230, so won't help us here.
Oh yeah,
but I mean, again,
that white one looked cool. Jam Master.
This one looks a lot to me like the one that Base the World showed off by I think it was Joyo, that is like a 30 watt kind of a bedroom speaker situation. But I mean, and that's the thing though. Like,
I just think it looks cool.
All I'm saying is, like, you don't have to spend like that Fender Rumble I think was like 150 and the Ampeg was like 200. Like, you don't have to spend
where I would
that.
Start. That's where I would start, are those little name brand amps.
But
Harley Benton, I mean, I don't know. I know that I played some of the basses and they're I mean, I was surprised that they were that good for the price tag. But amps are a different thing. I don't know. I always think that that's where you should spend more. You can go cheap on an instrument a lot more than you can go cheap on an amp.
Fair enough.
But my another recommendation is for the first instrument, shop. I mean, this could be just internal bias, but shop local. They typically have a higher standard for their inventory. I mean, there's scumbags everywhere, so like it's possible your local guitar shop is a bunch of scumbags, but for the most part, they care a little bit more.
I will put to that too. I mean, you can have people that suck for sure, but on that same note, if they're running a music store nowadays, they almost have to be good, because the music, like mom and pop music shops, are not an easy thing to keep going anymore. So if they're like the only game in town and far around, there's, I mean, in my mind at least, there's still a pretty good likelihood that they're not screwing every customer that walks through the door, because I mean, Google reviews, Yelp, all that good stuff. But on that same note, like if you're the only music store for 10, 20, 30 miles, and you get 2 or 3 customers who flat out say, "Oh, hey, don't buy anything from this place because I bought a thing and it was broken, and I went back and they said, nah, you should have tested it before you left. Obviously, you broke it." Like, that story's going to go up somewhere on a review.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now granted, like some places lean into that. I've seen some of my favorite like signs are like, home of the worst cup of coffee some lady on Yelp ever had. Like, you might lean into it, but like I owned an ice cream shop for a number of years, and I had a person who left a 1-star review, and it literally said, "Never been there, but doesn't look good from the outside." It's like, the building's 20 foot wide. We have a banner, we have glass walls. What looked bad that you decided, "Never been there. Awful." Like, okay. But I mean, that's just one thing. Like, I think if it's a mom and pop shop, yeah, they could be someone in there who just flat sucks and they do awful things. But I mean, how hard it seems to be for music stores to stay open now, like PMT in the UK shutting down because they couldn't keep up with online. I mean, the guy I talk to all the time who owns the nearest shop here in the town, I just changed. I have the same job, but I just changed stores, and he's in the town where I work now. He's been running this place for 30 years, and he's almost exclusively used gear because there's no way to make it on new gear. Even if he gets a huge discount at buying it, if he can't sell it at retail because every other place will undercut him. So
Well, it's tough too because it's like it's tough for small shops because a lot of people want the big brands. Well, the big brands are really tough to work with when you're a small shop. Um, I'm not gonna talk bad, but like
yeah,
it's just tough because you're going up from the brand's perspective. You're going up against like a Sweetwater that's making
yeah. When
bigger.
when you can buy 5 instruments and the
Yeah,
other's buying 10,000 instruments on an order.
to me, it still doesn't make sense to me because you're still making more money. But whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know all the logistics and everything, but
Oh yeah. Like
uh,
the guy I deal with all the time, he has I think 2 brands that he sells that are brand new. One is Guild, and the
mhm.
other is I think they're called Oscar Schmidt. They make like
Oh,
acoustics.
Washburn.
So he I think those are the 2 brands he gets new stuff. He doesn't have anything else that ever comes in new. Everything else that he has is used, but he's in a college town, so you'll get people who, hey, I started to do this thing, didn't
Hey,
like
fuck
it,
it,
so I'm
good
getting rid of
stuff.
it.
Yeah,
I
kids.
mean, he gets. I mean, he has. I'm trying to remember. He had one that came in uh, a few weeks back, and because he of course lists it on the Facebook page so that it shows it in all of the fun there, so Facebook people will see it. But he had one in there that came in that was a super old vintage, really nice, like I don't remember what name brand, but a name brand thing, and it I think he has it listed like 2 grand, so that's like a nice one for him. But
Hmm.
either way, so I think the conclusions we can draw before signing off is that you don't have to spend stupid amounts of money to get something that's good, and get what you I think we can both agree, get something that you want to play. Don't just get a thing because it's cheap and works if you don't like it. I think we both can agree on that. Like, if you don't like the thing, what's the
Yeah.
point? And then focus on using it, learning, and then worry later about the gear. Don't be the person who, hey, I've never played or touched an instrument my whole life, but I need to get this $8,000 thing so I can start. I need to play a bass better than 98% of professional bassists because I'm going to learn how to play today.
And one more caveat, and if you get something a first base, and you're going to hear a lot of people say Squire, and that's true. And another thing, anything with Fender dimensions, you can mod that. I know we weren't talking about mods
Oh, yeah.
specifically, but it
I was
can
thinking we
go.
might go over that next week if you're available. Like
Yeah.
how to take your first bass or first decent bass.
All right. Well, then we'll save it for then. I think I think I'm good for next week.
If
But
not, then save it
yeah,
for the week after.
yeah.
We're gonna turn ours into like Johnny and Chris. We're both gonna. You're my Chris, and he can have British Chris, and we'll just be here. But we do it every week
Well,
instead of once. And
we'll rumble.
there we go.
We'll,
Team less subs. Woo.
I mean, hey, man, like last time we tangled with the Brits, it didn't work out so good for them. Just saying.
I mean, yeah. But yep. So this is Chris. I make the same joke. He just put out a new video a couple years ago. Make
I
sure you go
did.
watch it. Yeah.
It was the first video. If you it was the review of the short scale Lakeland hollow body bass. That's always my joke to Leah is it used to be if you search that bass, mine was the first video. I don't know if that's still the case, but that's what I told Leah because I was like, she asked to borrow it one time, and I said never. I said because you're gonna make a video of it, and that's my corner of YouTube, and I'm not
Boom.
giving it up. I have the
Number
number one.
two.
I
Number
have the
two
number one
result.
video for the Lakeland short scale hollow body bass,
There you go.
or I did a few months ago. I don't know if that's
One of
still
these days, you're going to put out a new video, and I'm going to say you just put out a new one a couple of years ago, and you're going to be like, no, yesterday.
yeah, and no, no one will know because no one's watching. But yeah, man, yeah, I think I'm good for next week.
Okay, so next week we will talk about if you have a bass, what it is you could do if it's not making you happy, and what maybe you could do to make it better for you. But that's it for today. This is this one over here, the lovely Chris Volpini. He's lovely. You can see him. You can see it for yourself. I am the okayest bassist. As always, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Have a day as awesome as you are.